Welcome to another track guide. This week, week 12, Silverstone Grand Prix. Before we go into the actual laps, I found here the cars are affected more by the setup than they have been previously. Brands Hatch last week, I found them all much the same performance-wise. Not a lot to choose between them. However, here I found there's definitely in my experience, four quicker cars. I'll list those in alphabetical order, so there's no second guessing. Alphabetically, there would be the BMW, the McLaren, Mercedes, and Porsche. After that, there was another 4 or 5 cars, which was around about the 2 minute. And then there was the rest of the cars were like 2 minute 1 second plus, and it's all down, well, in my hands anyway. It's all down to the understeer. The fast sweeping turns of Silverstone seem to have exaggerated the understeer in some of these cars. Anyway, that's my experience. I mean, obviously your mileage might differ, so at least test them yourselves. So let's get into this lap. Oh, I also, before we start, I also wanted to do a lap with a mid-engine car and a lap with a front-engine car this week, just for a bit of difference and a bit of a change. I haven't had, pardon me, I haven't had much time. I've had very little time actually. So I've only done a handful of laps with each car, but I think I've got ish a representative lap out of them, so it's at least it's something to base your laps on. So we'll start here, which is obviously we're coming through Club Corner now onto the start finishing straight. As good as exit as you can get from Club through here, obviously the better. It's a very, very fast bend at the top, so you really want as much speed through here as you can. Coming up to turn 1 now. I'll stop it here. Now my brake reference is the start of this bit of tarmac here, but it's more important than that. On this side of the curb here, on the left hand side of the curb here, it goes down. It's a bit of a dip there, so try and get your front wheel into that, which will assist your car quickly rotating into this apex here. When I hit that, I brake and change down at the same time, and it sort of flicks the car to the right. Now we go in, and you can go straight back to throttle, and we've got full throttle. Keep it to the left here, and we're coming into turn 3. Now turn 3, the 100 board is my marker, so I'm starting to brake just before the 100 board. This turn now, it's the start of well, basically it's 2 corners which are vitally important. So the object here is to go out of the loop, which is turn 4, to get the best exit you can, because that goes all the way down the straight to Brooklands. Got a long straight, so exit speed from the loop is vitally important, more important than this corner coming up, turn 3. So you want to try and keep the car as far to the right as you can on the exit of this turn. As you can appreciate, where your car exits on the turn affects the speed that you're actually going through the corner at. So the further to the right you try to keep it, the slower. The more you let the car drive out from the corner, the faster your speed through the corner is going to be. So it's a compromise. The compromise you make obviously is going to be your own choice, but always bear in mind that it should err on sacrificing this corner for the next corner. You speed out of that loop makes or breaks your lap. The speed out of this one doesn't. Okay. So here I come about mid-track, maybe not quite. The start of this curve here is where I start to turn. I start to turn in here. I will brake at the same time. Well, the corner is just behind the A pillar here. That's the apex there. We want to get as close to that as we can. There we go. So we get right close to here. As soon as we hit that apex, we can go back to throttle. That's it. And now we're full throttle all the way through Aintree and down to Brooklands. Okay. Here, my brake reference on this one is I like to brake between the 100 and the 50. Probably getting more towards the 50 than the 100, to be honest with you. So probably, I don't know, maybe about 70 metres, maybe something like that. Let's have a see what it actually is. And there we go. So it's probably about 75. It's halfway between the two, probably. Down to third gear, and we're trying to sweep round the corner and get a very late apex. We want to be I don't know if I can see it here. We want to sort of go in like that to the very late apex. Let's just here we go. Silverstone's quite good because most of the bends have orange. They're not really sausage. Some are sausage curves, but I mean there's these yellow marks. Let's call it markers, and they basically tell you where the apex is. The track it reminds me of very much is Laguna Seca, because they have red sausage curves basically marking the apex. So these are the ones at Silverstone. Some you can run over, some you can't. If you take too much curb, I think as long as your wheels are on or to the outside of this white line, then you're okay. But as soon as your right hand wheels come inside that, then you've got the 1X or the slow down. But you want to come across here now late, which lets you just go full throttle for a fraction of a second. Back down to second gear. Here you've got your curbing again, which show you where the apex is, and then push it out. You can use all this runoff at the side here. You can cut this corner, and then you want to get on the left hand side curb, open up the curb, the corner, sorry, and we want to brake and turn in. Let's have a look. Here we go. Bosh. I'm braking just a fraction after the 100. We're not braking an awful lot, maybe 20% if that. Back to throttle at the apex, and then we come to maggots, beckets and chapel. Now here, the way I take these is I will change down. I'll basically come off the gas here and change down. Let's go. I think 2 gears I come down. No, 1 gear. And 2 gears for this. No, just 1 gear. 1 gear for this. And then the idea here, just a minute, oops. With this corner, I think here you need to be going slower than feels right. Sometimes if you get this corner right, you probably feel as if you've been going too slow. It's because all these cars are pushing out on this corner so much understeer. They're not gripping up. I think, if I'm right, I might be wrong, but I think that NX whatever you call it, the IndyCar, I think that runs at this track this week as well, and anybody who does that will be caught out with what these cars do, because this does not grip at all around here. Of course, these haven't got the downforce and they weigh a hell of a lot more than an IndyCar. But yeah, you've got to slow it down here. And I find, if I can just, you see, we've got the 3 curbs again, so that's the apex there, basically, according to these. So I find, if you watch this side here, where the pedal thing is, now I'm accelerating, okay? So just before the start of these, so it's patience really, because you feel that you should be getting back to throttle well before this, but you just have to be patient, otherwise it will push itself off the track on the other side of this bend. Okay, so we go. Now it's vital that you don't go over here. If you go over here, you'll get a 1X, and you can get a slowdown if you're too far over. It's brutal, this corner, for the off tracks. At the 100, I'll take the car in, there's your curbs again, and then back to throttle, and then we come up to the 100 again, so we're braking here, down to second. Now again, we've got the same here as we have on turns 2 and 3, whereby you don't want to track out beyond halfway coming out of this. The further to the left that you are, the faster you'll be through club corner. Again, compromise. Going fast here only gives you an advantage for about 20 yards. Being fast through the next one gives you an advantage all the way to turn 1. So don't, if you think you're going too slow through here, you're doing well, because you're not going to gain anything here. You're really not. So we're going to the left here, and it's a lift for here, and then it's just flat out. Okay, and that's a lap of Silverstone. So I'll play it again. I'll just go through here at full speed. Okay, so there's a lap of Silverstone. I'll now show you a lap with the front engined, just for something different. Okay, so here we go, a lap round with front engined. It's the Mercedes, and here we go.